Philadelphia, you got your wish. And now the bitter birds have been forced to hop onto the Mark Sanchez bandwagon. I will say this. It is Man Crush Monday, and I am kicking Chip Kelly to the curb this week because, let's face it, no homo. But Mark is a sexy beast. He makes those females purr. But ladies, get your hands off of him because he's my cuddle buddy. It's already set. Mark and I were having our first cuddle session at his house on Thursday. I'm beyond excited. He's got a nice comfy couch, warm blankets, a 95-inch TV, blue raspberry ices, hot dogs, and most importantly, Gone with the Wind and Blu-ray. Oh, yeah. But all kidding aside, he didn't look bad yesterday, and without knowing the extent of Nick Foles' cracked clavicle, we may have to hop on the Sanchez train for a little while. Mike Owens is here. I'm Adrian Fedque. Oh, man. Oh, God. Shenanigans.
Yeah, we were the last ones on that Nick Foles bandwagon. And then all of a sudden, it started to slow down and we started to have some mechanical problems on the bandwagon. We were going about 25 miles an hour in a 50-mile-per-hour zone. And then on Sunday, everything just broke down completely, and we had to pull the vehicle over to the side of the road, and we had to call Mark Sanchez to come and pick us up. And we jumped in, Mark Sanchez's truck because he doesn't drive a bandwagon, he drives a truck. And, the babes were in the back seat, we hopped on in, and he got the job done. And hopefully he can continue to do that because right now we don't have a choice. We've got Foles, who's got a broken engine. He's overheating. And now we got to go, and we got to put our faith in Sanchez. So we got to say a prayer that Sanchez can continue to play like he did on Sunday.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. And you know what? It doesn't really look good for Foles right now. We will get back to Sanchez in a little bit. We're going to talk Foles. We're going to talk this cracked clavicle. Chip Kelly had a press conference today. He doesn't know the extent of the injury yet. Foles had an MRI at noon, so we'll find out a little bit later. It's 3 o'clock right now, so we're not going to know right now. But Tony Romo's had this injury, broke his collarbone in week 6 of the 2010 season, missed the final 10 games. And Aaron Rodgers had this injury last season. He missed 7 games, came back in week 17, led the Packers to the NFC North title, and they lost in the wild card round to San Francisco. So the question is, oh man, he's going to miss at least a month. And if he misses a month, that's at least one Cowboys game. But it's probably going to be a lot longer than that. He might be out for the season, but I pose this question to you. Do you bring Foles back if he's ready to go in week 16 or 17?
I mean, that a lot of that depends on how Sanchez plays. If Sanchez can come in and get the job done, if he has a winning record, then I would say that you got to stick with Sanchez because Foles, I mean, he really just hasn't had a good year at all. So we saw more of the same, back foot throws from Foles on Sunday, and at this point, you just see that. Not only Foles did he, crack his collarbone, but he's also had a, cracked confidence. He just hasn't been the same guy this year, and you can just see it on his demeanor on the field. So I guess, it's interesting because when Vic got hurt last year, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise. Now, could this be the same thing? Could this be a blessing in disguise with Sanchez coming in? Because the interceptions with Foles, I mean, they were just piling up way too fast.
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting situation. And quite frankly, I don't know what's going to happen. Because obviously with Rodgers, he's an all-pro quarterback. He's an MVP. You're going to bring him back. I mean, obviously he's a greater option than Matt Flynn and Scott Tolzien, for that matter. So with this situation, you have Foles, who's thrown 10 picks this year. I mean, that's a lot. 10 of the 21 turnovers have been Nick Foles' fault. And, well, that's not even including his fumbles either. So he's turning the ball over. And we're putting our faith into Mark Sanchez. Oh, my God. It is going to take me a while to hop on this bandwagon. So I haven't gotten into the truck yet. I'm just going to go on his couch and have his little cuddle session. But but man, yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a line in that movie, Gone with the Wind, by the way. It's with enough courage, you can do without a reputation. And the part with Sanchez, we know about his reputation, the butt fumble, all that. I talked about with you this pre-show. One of my friends, my roommate, who's from California at Temple, he's a huge Jets fan, knows his football. And the thing about Sanchez, he says, is like, when he's good, he's good. He goes real good. He gets on these hot stretches, and he plays really well. But when it goes bad in a hurry. And let's just hope that, the mistakes don't pile up. He just keeps continuing to play like this. So hopefully we get good Mark, not bad Mark.
Yeah, well, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a little bit of a change in game plan with Sanchez in there. You're going to see the Eagles run the ball a lot more now, and you kind of saw that in the mostly in the fourth quarter of this Texans game. They really went back to the running game, and they actually had a lot of success with it. They actually got all three of their running backs in action. McCoy obviously had a great game, but then you also had Sproles, who saw increase in action, and Polk saw him for the most that he's played this season, and he did a nice job. So I think you're really going to see that three-headed monster in the backfield, and I think the key with Sanchez in there is limiting his throws. I think if you try to throw the ball 50 times a game with Sanchez, you're going to run into trouble, and that's where you're going to see bad Sanchez come into play. But I think if you can kind of make Sanchez like a game type of manager, type of quarterback, then I think you'll be all right. Because with the Jets, Sanchez really didn't have the weapons around him to do much. But here in Philadelphia, he's got the weapons around him. So he doesn't have to come out and be a hero. He's just going to come out, do his job, and be a game manager.
Yeah, you brought up the perfect point there. The Eagles carried the ball 40 times for 190 yards yesterday. A lot of success on the ground. LaShawn McCoy is getting back to being the real McCoy. And the key to all of this is getting all these guys back on the offensive line. Jason Kelce returned at his usual center position on Sunday, and then we're going to get Evan Mathis back at left guard on this Monday night. So you're going to have those guys back. Let's go with Jason Peters, Lane Johnson. Todd Herremans is going to be out for a while. I guess he re-aggravated his injury, or maybe he just, quite frankly, he wasn't being really effective with that injury, the biceps injury. So we're going to have a change there. But all the main guys are back on the offensive line, and I completely agree with you. You got to run the ball, and I would think that they're going to run the ball maybe like a 60-40 ratio. I mean, they're going to have the. If you're going to hop on a bandwagon, hop on the LaShawn McCoy bandwagon, because he's going to be the one carrying this team down the stretch.
No, you're exactly right there. McCoy is going to be the guy. McCoy struggled on early this season with the banged-up offensive line, but now, especially with Sanchez in there, you're going to see a lot of McCoy. Now I'm going to throw out another name out here. This is for you fantasy owners especially. I don't know if he's on the waiver wire, but if he is, you want to pick up Jordan Matthews, because since we're from Philadelphia, we've attended some of the training camps, and we kept a close eye on it. Now, all Mark Sanchez did during training camp was throw the ball to Jordan Matthews. Now, you saw a little bit of this on Sunday, because Sanchez, first touchdown pass as an Eagle, goes to Jordan Matthews. So the Sanchez-Jordan Matthews connection, get used to it, because it's going to happen a lot. So Riley Cooper, see you later.
Goodbye, Cooper. Yeah, but I mean, you make a great point, because around the red zone, Mark Sanchez, his best pass is that seam pass. Loves throwing that seam pattern. And the other guy that I expect to step up is going to be Zach Ertz. They had that connection too during training camp and the preseason. So Matthews, Zach Ertz, those are going to be the two guys, along with Jeremy Maclin. Again, he was phenomenal yesterday. We'll get back to him, because wow, the last 2 weeks, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll get back to him, because all you have to say with Maclin is Deshaun Jackson, because at this point people are saying we're going to miss that downfield threat. Well, Macklin's burning people right now.
Yeah, Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Sanchez again. Let's talk about this game yesterday. And I'll tell you what, he played well. He didn't make too many mistakes. He did make that one boo boo. Could have had a couple other boo boos, but for the most part, he composed himself. He was okay. But the thing that I like about him is, he was getting the ball out quick, making quick decisions, and throwing the ball really accurately. And this is a point you made yesterday. You know, you don't necessarily need a great quarterback in this system because guys run free in this offense. Chip puts his quarterbacks in the best position to succeed. Doesn't matter who's in there. He talked about it today in his press conference. Doesn't he's going to cater the offense around his quarterback, and he does a great job of it.
Yeah, the one key thing with this Chip Kelly offense and the quarterback, he really needs a quarterback to be accurate. Now, the reason why Foles, struggled a little bit this year is because he hasn't been accurate. He's been throwing off his back foot. He's been throwing interceptions. He's been overthrowing guys. He just hasn't been the same Foles that we remember from last year. But with Sanchez, in this game against the Texans, Sanchez seemed to be pretty accurate. So I feel like if Sanchez can continue with his accuracy, he really shouldn't have a problem as long as he's not throwing the ball that much. I think that he'll actually be all right because for some reason it seems like Sanchez is actually kind of thriving in this fast-paced type of offense for whatever reason. It seems to just like fit his style of play, which is it's a good thing for us because it's working right now for him.
Yeah, I mean he's going up to the line of scrimmage, not having to think, not having to read, the defenses because Chip Kelly, you want to get the ball out as quick as you can. That's really the premise of the whole offense. And he's not having to think. He's just playing. He's just doing, And I'll tell you what, he's getting the ball out a lot quicker than Foles was.
Yeah, no, he really is. And, it's kind of surprising, how fast Sanchez actually ran the offense. I don't know if you noticed this, but I kind of felt like when Sanchez was in the game, he was actually running the offense faster than Foles was.
Yeah, I did notice that actually. They were lightning quick with him under center. They were zooming.
Yeah, it almost reminded me of really Chip Kelly's debut here, first game last year against the Redskins, Monday Night Football. It was almost like that type of speed that they had going with Sanchez in there. So I think that you can really expect a lot more of that. Another thing that you can expect a lot more with Sanchez in there is that you can expect Sanchez to be under center more often. And I kind of feel like that's a part of the game where Chip Kelly is kind of learning as he goes along here. I mean, obviously, Chip Kelly is still a young coach. He still has to learn some things in the NFL. You can't do some of the things that you do in college in the NFL. And I kind of felt like Chip Kelly kind of learned from his mistakes last week, and he kind of fixed them this week.
All right. Speaking of Sanchez again, I got his stats in front of me. 15 to 22 for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Foles, meanwhile, 10 of 13, 124 yards with a touchdown and a pick. Foles obviously hurt late in the first quarter after being sacked by Whitney Merciless. And, Sanchez era began in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and, there was no mercy with that hit. Foles got popped pretty good. You could tell kind of as soon as he went down to the ground, he wasn't getting up pretty fast, so you know it wasn't good. And, Sanchez was definitely eager to get into the game. A lot of times this season he's ran over to that sideline, grabbed his helmet, grabbed the football. He was literally inches away from coming into the game, and then Foles would miraculously get up and stay in there. But, this time it was just one hit too many, and Foles was done for good. And all of a sudden the Sanchez era begins, and it's kind of got a weird ring to it. And it's going to take us a while to get used to this, to be honest with you.
All right, let's get back to the running attack because, while everyone wants to talk the quarterback situation right now, the running attack is really going to be the key to the rest of this season. So they run the ball 40 times yesterday for 190 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. And just to run down this three-headed trio here, because they used those three guys perfectly. Polk along the goal line, Sproles in there on third down, getting those receptions, moving the chains, and McCoy in all 23 carries, 117 yards, 5.1 yards a pop, and Polk he goes 8 for 50. Picked up that critical 4th and 1 along the goal line. Didn't go for it last week on 4th and 1. Did it this week. They pick up the chains. They wind up scoring a touchdown, and that's what see the outcome. So, this one, the perfect drive, the perfect illustration of this running game was that 4-play, 70-yard drive, and I believe it was in the third quarter. You had Polk run it twice, McCoy ran it twice, and they went right down the field.
Yeah, that was a great drive. I really liked that drive a lot there. Just perfect execution there in the running game. And, I think that really the main guy here is Polk, because he's a guy that really hasn't been able to be healthy for most of the year, but it seems like he's finally ready to go. And hopefully he can stay healthy, because the Eagles really don't have a true fullback on this roster, but Polk is actually essentially the fullback in this system. So you're going to see him a lot in short yardage situations. And early on in this season, they really didn't have Polk, so they didn't have that type of guy to get those short yardage situations. But now with him, they can do it. And you can't underestimate the value that Sproles brings to this team. I mean, you just see this guy go out there, and when he was picking up some of those first downs, just tremendous effort. I mean, you really got to hand it to Sproles, because, him and Maclin, just really the MVPs on offense. They're really carrying the team right now.
Yeah, he's literally a little water bug, just squirting through tackles and stuff. It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, we got to be thankful that we have him, because he's unreal. He's really unreal right now, and they're using him in so many different ways. And I kind of liked how they used him this week against the Texans. They really, they threw him the ball a lot more. They got him a lot more involved, and I think that's what you got to do. You got to put him on the field, even if you line him up out wide as a wide receiver, and you have McCoy in the backfield. You got to get him on the field.
Yeah, completely agree. And by the way, how great was it to have Kelsey back? Just 20 yards downfield. It's amazing. I've never seen a guy like this.
Yeah, no, it's great to have Kelsey back, but he almost gave me a few heart attacks with his snaps. He obviously is a little bit rusty in that category. We'll have to, polish that up. But yeah, besides that, oh man, there's such a difference between Jason Kelsey and Mr. David Molk. So yeah, very, very thankful to have Kelsey back, and I even think that now when you get Mathis back next week. That'll be even a bigger addition too. So, you'll have the whole left side of your line ready to go. Harriman's probably is going to be done for the year. He didn't look the same with his bicep injury. He actually injured his ankle. That's why he left the game. So, he suffered an ankle injury. He's getting an MRI today. So I'm going to imagine with an ankle injury and a torn biceps, you're not going to see him. You're going to see a combination probably of maybe a little Gardner, Dennis Kelly, and Matt Tobin there at that position.
Yeah, I just assumed he just re-aggravated his injury. I didn't realize he had an ankle injury. All right, so moving on now to Jeremy Maclin, because these last two games from him, outstanding. He's on pace to set the Eagles' single-season wide receiver mark for yardage in a season. So he follows up a 12-catch, 187-yard, 2-touchdown performance by getting 6 more receptions, 158 yards, 2 scores, the one to seal it at the end, the one that went for 51, 52 yards from Foles. Beautiful throw by Foles, by the way, before he got hurt. But Maclin again, just wow, great game from him. And the Eagles, that's another thing. They really took advantage of when Kareem Jackson and Jonathan Joseph, those pair of corners for the Texans, went out.
Yeah, right now Maclin is just on fire. you worry about when a guy has an ACL injury and how he's going to come back, especially a wide receiver, because they need, their knees for their explosiveness getting off the line of scrimmage. But explosiveness is something that Jeremy Maclin is not lacking right now. To be honest with you, he looks better than he did before the injury. And that's pretty crazy because he was pretty good before the injury, but he is just he's on fire right now, and no one's stopping him.
Yeah, to see him burn Patrick Peterson last week, that really caught my eye. And for him to just continue it this week again, he's, like you said, he's one of our MVPs of our offense right now.
Yeah, he really is. So thank God that he came back and he even looked better than before because, like I was saying before, with Deshaun Jackson gone, everyone wondered if we were going to be able to stretch the field. But Maclin is becoming that guy. And if he can continue to do that, then we're really not going to miss Deshaun Jackson.
No, not at all. I'd rather have Maclin than Deshaun, I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, with Deshaun and his antics, it would get old after a while. So it's kind of funny because now Deshaun is on the Redskins, a team that is just brutal, not a good team. And meanwhile, the Eagles are laughing because they've got Maclin back and things are clicking for them on offense. So, yeah, got to, give it up to Maclin, on fire right now.
Yeah, they better pay that man. They better pay that man.
Yeah, well, Jesus, I'll tell you what, Maclin did the right thing by only taking a 1-year deal because if playing like this year, oh, man, he's going to be making some big-time money after this season.
Yeah, show me the money. And I'm going to go back to the second touchdown he had because originally it was, what was it, first and goal or second and goal or whatever it was. Sanchez rolled to his right, and the play design was for Casey in the flat, but Casey fell down. James Casey fell down. What a surprise. But Maclin, he's in the end zone, and he did a phenomenal job of coming back to the ball, and Sanchez found him, put it only where Maclin could catch it, and that sealed the outcome.
Yeah, it was a great catch by Maclin. Also a nice job by Sanchez, but even a better catch by Maclin there because it was a low throw, obviously. He had to make sure that he gets his hands underneath it and keep control, and that's what he did. And just another huge touchdown for Maclin and just, sealed the outcome for the Eagles. So, yeah, that was huge there. And I felt the key was the Eagles really needed to, figure out how to fix their red zone problems, and they kind of did it in this game. So it's good to see that they're heading in the right direction there.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns in the red zone. You pick up that 4th and 1 with Polk. That I completely agree with going for it there on 4th and 1 because the way the game was going, if it would have been 27-21, I didn't have much faith in our secondary. I just did, not with Hopkins the way he was going on those crossing routes. But we'll get back to that. We'll talk about that in a little bit because Earl Wolff, we're gonna have to call his ass out because he got a horrible game. That's what I get for wanting him in there for Nate Allen. Man, he made Nate Allen look like a god, really. So yeah, we'll get back to that. But going back to the red zone thing. They used Matthews on that seam route. You asked for it last week and you got it. So that's his 3rd touchdown now on that seam play. Great throw by Sanchez too, by the way. Great touch.
Yeah, no, that was an unbelievable throw by Sanchez. I mean, he could only put it in one spot for Matthews to get it, and he put it right on the money. And yeah, like I said, the Sanchez-Matthews connection, I think that you're going to see it a lot in the upcoming week. So look forward to that. Jordan Matthews is a guy that I'm really excited about because I feel like he could be a star in this league. His attitude is the main thing. He's got a great attitude, and you can just see it on the field. I love watching him play. Him and Ertz, 2 guys that I love watching play.
And talking about this wide receiver core now, because I noticed earlier in the game, you had Maclin on the field, you had Huff on the field, Jordan Matthews on the field, there was no Riley Cooper.
Yeah. Well, we kind of we've talked about this before, how eventually Matthews is going to kind of step up and Cooper is kind of going to be left in the dust. And that's kind of what's happening right now. Honestly, I really didn't expect Huff to come in and kind of take away snaps from Cooper, but he is at this point. Now, Huff is the type of guy, he's got talent, but he's very frustrating right now because he makes plays, but Jesus Christ, does he need to learn how to hold on to the ball? And the the interception hit off him, with Sanchez at quarterback. So, yeah, Jesus, that guy, hold on to the ball, man.
Yeah, the fumble last week and the crucial, drop. And I believe that came right after he picked up this third down where, he caught a pass like 5 yards before the first down marker. And he did a great job of running after the catch, breaking a tackle, and moving the chains. And then he goes and drops the pass, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. It's you huffed, you puffed, and you blew the ball away again.
Yeah, he's blown it a lot so far. So, he's got to figure out how to secure the football a little bit more. But, this all goes back, Riley Cooper slowly just, seeing himself on the sideline, and with Sanchez in there and with Foles out, you're not going to see much of Cooper.
No. Thank God. I was expecting Huff to replace Cooper at some point. I didn't expect it to be this year, to be honest with you. So, that's nice to see. Moving on to another topic because, it's incredible. All these injuries and all these turnovers, and somehow the Eagles 6-2. And speaking of the turnovers right now, 21 on the season. They only had 19 all of last year. You had 4 more turnovers yesterday. This needs to stop.
It needs to stop immediately because the Eagles almost blew that game yesterday. And if the Eagles would have blown that game yesterday, there would have been a lot of unhappy folks in Philadelphia. Right now, the Eagles are getting away with this. But I'll tell you what, if they want to go deep into the playoffs, they want to be a Super Bowl contender, they can't continue to do this. This is something that they have to clean up immediately. You can deal with 1, maybe 2 turnovers a game, but you start talking about 4 turnovers a game, you can't beat good teams like that. So, got to stop that right now.
They won this game by 10, but they should have won it by like 28. They completely dominated this game, all facets, and I'm going to run down the numbers for you. They outgained the Texans 483-300, picked up 30 first downs compared to 15 for Houston, 9 of 16 on third down compared to 5 of 13 for the Texans. So just complete domination, and the turnovers just kind of kept them hanging around. I guess Alex Henry signed a one-day contract for the Texans, missed the field goal to the left. Randy Bullock, could have gotten him within a possession. He misses it. So, we kept biting ourselves in the ass, but the Texans really weren't taking advantage, and, the Eagles walked away with a 10-point victory.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any type of offense that the Texans had in that game, it came off of turnovers. So, besides, us turning the ball over, the Texans really did nothing on offense. So, our defense did a nice job of really shutting him down. But, like you were saying, Eagles should have just walked away with this game. But instead, they had to turn the ball over and, make it close again.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the defense now. And the key to the game was stopping Arian Foster, and that they did. They did an amazing job of, stringing out those stretch plays to the sideline. He had nowhere to go. 15 attempts, 56 yards, only 3.7 yards a carry. Fantastic job against him. Really shut him down.
Yeah, that was really the key there, was to shut him down. They did a really nice job. The Eagles' run defense this year has actually been pretty solid. Obviously, main reason for that is guys like Fletcher Cox, who's having a great year. Doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but outstanding year he's having along, that defensive line. Also, another guy that you're seeing a lot of is Bo Allen. He's a guy that we've talked about a lot on this show, and he's really, stepping up his game too. You can see him getting better and better every week. And this past game against the Texans was the most that I've seen him on the field.
Yeah, yeah. And oh boy, all right, we got to talk about this now because we should have talked about this a lot sooner. While everyone is focused on this Foles injury, the bigger injury is really DeMeco Ryans. Losing him on our defense, he's he's our Mufasa. All right, Chip said it yesterday, and now we're gonna get Casey Matthews in here again. You know, Kendricks got out. We had to see Casey, and now we're stuck with him again. But he is playing better this season. Our little Simba.
Little Simba is going to have to step up in a big way. Now, this is very, very, very scary right now. We are going to have to rely on the worst Matthews out there to help us win. Jesus. If you would have told me that we would be stuck with, Casey Matthews for the, second half of the season, I would tell you that we're in big trouble. Let's just hope that Casey is spending a lot of time with Clay this week, and he's learning his techniques because we're going to need it come Monday night against the Panthers and for the rest of the season.
Oh, man. Stuck with him again. Oh, my God. He's a lot better this year than he was. I will give him that. Chip was saying today in his press conference that he plays with good instincts. And you know what? In some ways, he's right because he does put himself in a position to make plays and make tackles. But the problem is he just doesn't make the tackle. He'll be in the hole, and then the running back will just go right by him. But he's doing a better job this season of wrapping up the ball carrier. I will give him credit there.
Yeah, no, he's definitely improved a lot this season. I honestly, it was a little worrisome when he came in against the Colts earlier this year in Week 2, and boy, if that Casey Matthews was, still playing for us, we would be in really, really deep trouble. But he's improved his game, it seems like. So hopefully he can be a suitable replacement. That's really just what we need at this point. It's really going to be a combination of him and Acho back there at the middle linebacker spot. Now, really, when you lose a guy like DeMeco Ryans, not only are you losing, his skills on the field, but you're losing his leadership. And that's really the big thing that you have to look at here. Who is going to step up on that defense? Now, I think that this could be, a great time for Kendricks to step up and take his play to the next level. I think this is where Kendricks could become a superstar in this league.
I agree. The burden's going to be on him now. He's going to have to be our rock. He's going to have to be our guy. He's going to be our new Mufasa.
He's going to have to be our new Mufasa because I'll tell you what, Casey Matthews is not going to be Mufasa. That's for sure.
He's a little bitty Simba.
Yeah, so it's definitely not going to be Acho. And Marcus Smith, he can't even freaking find the playing field. All he does is warm the bench up. So, that's another point that's a little bit scary considering that Marcus Smith still can't get on the field. He was inactive this past week. So it's going to be interesting. The Eagles now, they're going to have to sign someone because I'm going to imagine they're going to end up putting probably DeMeco Ryans on IR. So I wonder, if they would go out and maybe try to sign a veteran linebacker or something like that.
Well, you know what? Going back to Marcus Smith, the bench warmer is very important. It's November now. It's getting colder. You got to keep that bench warm, man. You do. All right. So anyway, all kidding aside, going back to your Ryan's point, they're going to have to sign somebody. But he's 31 now. You would think that this was probably his last game in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, this was probably it because they were probably going to get rid of him at the end of the year. So, I think it was just a matter of time before, DeMeco passed the torch to probably a guy like Kendricks. but it came sooner than expected. But it's here, so we have to deal with it. So yeah, Kendricks has really got to step up. He had a pretty good game here against the Texans. He had I believe he ended with like 12 sacks, and he had 12 tackles. He had a sack and like 12 tackles, so he had a pretty good game. So it's nice to see that Kendricks is getting back to full strength after his calf injury that he had. So yeah, it's time for him to step up, and along with everyone else, and that those linebackers.
Yeah, the one Kendrick sack came on one of those play action fakes that the Texans like to do when you have the stretch, run the stretch plays. So, that was the thing that I was noticing early on. Whenever they had play action, the Eagles were either getting sacks or Fitzpatrick had to take off and run so for minimal gains. So they did a phenomenal job of preventing the play action. Good job, good coverage downfield. I'll tell you what, Kerry Williams and Bradley Fletcher didn't play that bad. That's surprising.
No, they actually did it. They did all right there. I mean, they're still having a problem with locating the ball. That's something that we still have to work on. But they didn't look too bad. I mean, they pretty much shut down Andre Johnson. I don't know what what did he end up with?
I'll tell you in a second.
Because it wasn't that much. They did a really nice job on him.
2 for 12, 2 catches, 12 yards, 7 targets, nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So I was actually kind of shocked that the Texans weren't trying to go Andre Johnson's way more often. I really thought that he would be a guy that they would, try to take advantage of with us, but they just didn't do it.
Yeah, the one play that really stuck out in my mind with Fletcher, you had this one pass along the right sideline, floated a pass to him, and Fletcher went up, located the ball, knocked it away. Probably his best play he's made all year.
Yeah, no, I remember that play exactly. That was a really nice play by Fletcher to knock it away there. So, yeah, he used his ball locating skills for one play. Now they just kind of, use that for every play. But, yeah, now, with DeMeco Ryans out, it's really going to put added pressure on our defense. And they're going to have to, step it up.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Ah.
I had some technical difficulties. My plugin got fucked up, and yeah, it shut me off. But I'm back. I don't know what you were talking about.
No, yeah, you're back. I can't see you though.
Oh, you can't see me.
No, we
I'm
just
like,
have.
I'm like John Cena.
Yeah, you're invisible right now. This is interesting. I don't know what happened. There was some technical difficulties. You decided to disappear on me.
Yeah, I was fine, and then I had this message pop up, and I don't know, it was bullshit, but whatever. All right, so let's continue our show because we're talking about Eagles. We don't want to talk about this crap, but yeah, we had a blog talk radio malfunction there. Interesting. All right, so I guess now we'll talk about Earl Wolff because oh boy, oh boy. All right, so we wanted Earl Wolff in there for Nate Allen, and well, That's what happens when you want someone like that. So we wanted him in there. He played like shit. DeAndre Hopkins was running these crossing routes. He wasn't stepping up and making tackles. Hopkins was running right down the field like Joe Jaravicious in the 2002 NFC Championship game. And by the way, Joe Jaravicious is still running down the sideline. So you had two plays like that. You got burned on the touchdown. Not a good showing from him.
No, not a good showing at all. It's time to get Nate Allen back. I mean, geez, it's scary to think that we're cheering for Nate Allen to get healthy, but yeah, that's where we're at this point because Wolff just didn't look good. Even Chip Kelly is still not a fan of Wolff. Even today, they asked Chip Kelly about how Wolff looked, and he just said, "Oh, Wolff looked okay." So Chip Kelly is obviously not sold on Mr. Wolff, and it's hopefully Allen will be back this week Monday night against the Panthers.
Yeah, didn't think I'd say it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to him being back. Oh God, he was so bad, like ridiculously bad. I was, he had some good stretches last year, and that's what I was expecting to see, and now I know why Chip and Billy Davis weren't sold on him.
Yeah, exactly. It's not pretty with him. He's had a lot of injuries that haven't helped out. I don't think he's really fully healthy. It's just a bad combination right now with him. So yeah, let's get Nate Allen back.
Yeah. All right. So. Yeah, so hopefully the defense they can continue to step up because obviously with the quarterback situation and all this they have stepped up the last few weeks. They really done a good job of really ratcheting up the pressure. We saw more pressure on Sunday on Fitzpatrick, and like I was talking about earlier on the play action passes that they like to run, they just weren't having any success with it.
Yeah, no, the Eagles did a really nice job there against Fitzpatrick. They really got to him. So it's with DeMeco out, the defense is going to have to continue to get to the quarterback and really just continue to mask those deficiencies that we have in the secondary.
Yeah, and they did it yesterday because I didn't see Kerry Williams' name called a lot. I didn't see Fletcher's name called a lot. So. They just got to stop those crossing routes because that's been a problem since Chip's come to Philadelphia. I still have nightmares of Eddie Royal going across the middle, picking up 3rd and 15s from last year.
Yeah, well, really, the offense, the Achilles heel of the offense is turnovers. And right now, the Achilles heel of this defense is letting up big plays. So, the defense has been doing a pretty nice job, but the one thing that they have been doing is giving up big plays. I heard us last week, the previous week against the Cardinals. So this week against the Texans, it almost hurt us, but that's one thing that we got to stop. We got to prevent those big plays because if you're giving up, 2 big plays a game and they go for touchdowns, that's not good at all. So they definitely got to figure out a way to, stop that.
Yeah, that's 14 points a game right there. So I had a stat on that actually, and I wish I had it on me. They're allowing like a ridiculous amount of 50-yard touchdowns this season, and even yesterday you saw it with you had the Arian Foster wheel route. That's something the Eagles still haven't been able to stop this season is the wheel route from coming out of the backfield. No one's really doing a good job there. Yeah, so Foster had a little step on Barwin on that play, and Fitzpatrick threw a good ball. So that went for a touchdown. I believe that went for a touchdown, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so gotta stop that.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's enough already with these giving up these big plays on defense. It's just gonna kill us. So, gotta stop giving up the big plays on defense. Gotta stop turning the ball over on offense. And if they can, do that, cut that back a little bit, then they should be all right here. But really can't complain at this point. We're 6-2 right now. At this point last year, we were 3-5, so pretty big difference. And the Eagles made the playoffs last year, obviously won the division, so things are they're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, obviously got to cut back the turnovers in the big plays because you look at the slate coming up: Green Bay, Seattle, Dallas twice. That's 4 games, and if they're going to play like this against those teams, you're not going to win those games. So got to step up. Can't turn the ball over. I mean, it's really that simple.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, some huge games coming up for the Eagles. So, I mean, obviously, those 2 games against Dallas are going to be massive. Game against the Packers got flexed to like 4:30, so
Yeah.
that'll be a fun game there at Lambeau. I actually think that's going to be a big game because right now, obviously, we both think the Eagles are going to lose that game. But if they could somehow sneak that one out, that would really go a long way towards possibly winning the division or seeding, obviously.
Yeah, the seeding is going to be key. That's what that's going to, because you look at the NFC South, that the winner of that division is going to be like 9-7, 10-6, unless Carolina wins. But Carolina doesn't look good right now. So that's probably going to be the 4 seed. And you look at this Green Bay game, this might decide, a first-round bye. So if you can win that game, you're probably going to get a 2 seed if you can win the NFC East. And that's still a big if at this point, obviously, with 2 games against Dallas coming up. So got to get that one. And they've lost already to Arizona, and Arizona at 7-1, in the driver's seat right now in the NFC West. So huge games coming up. Obviously. So just got to keep winning.
Yeah, Carson Palmer and the Arizona Cardinals are in the driver's seat in the whole NFL. They've got the best record in the NFL. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's the reality.
Yeah, did us a big favor yesterday. So Colt McCoy beats Dallas on Monday night, and then Dallas loses again, and all of a sudden, it's nice. The Cowboys are starting to lose. It's November, and this is kind of what happens, huh?
Oh, it sure is. As soon as the temperature, drops here in Philadelphia and we get closer to December, you can smell the snow flurries coming. That's when things start to fall apart for the Cowboys. But I think you can see how much Romo means to that Dallas team. So they better hope that they can get him, this week with Jacksonville, it probably doesn't even matter who they have back there. But going forward, they definitely need Romo out there.
Yep, completely agree. Obviously leader of that team. He's been playing well this year, so it's not really saying anything because September, October, he always kind of does this, and then the wheels fall apart.
Yeah, it's very true. So, well, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be fun here in the second half of the season. Obviously a lot up for stake. Division up for grabs. Big game for the Giants tonight. Giants can get right back in the thick of this thing. So the NFC, man, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and it's completely unpredictable right now. You look at some of these games yesterday. St. Louis with a completely shocking, beyond shocking win in Santa Clara, beating them at the end there. Kaepernick couldn't hold on to the ball, and you said it perfectly. I think he was petting his pet tortoise too much before the game because he couldn't hang on to the damn thing.
Yeah, his tortoise must have, nibbled on one of his fingers, and he must have got a boo-boo because he had trouble handling that snap there along the goal line. And then to make things worse, actually his fullback ended up coming in. He was trying to push Kaepernick into the end zone, and he actually ended up knocking the ball out a little bit. So, yeah, that was, geez, I tell you what. I did not expect the 49ers to lose that game at all. So that was really, I think that was a devastating loss because if you go and you try to predict the future here, the Niners could miss the playoffs by 1 game.
They could, and it very well could happen. Now I'm going to pull up the standings right now because the NFC is going to be interesting. So the Niners are 4-4 right now. And it's funny because before the season, this is what I thought was going to happen. and I thought they were going to go 7-1 down the stretch. But the way they look, I don't like the way they look, and they could very well miss the playoffs. All right, so you have Philadelphia and Dallas in the NFC East. That's 2 teams. You got Detroit and Green Bay. That's 2 more teams. That's 4. New Orleans, the NFC South winner. That's 5. And then you got Arizona, Seattle, San Francisco. So you got 8 teams fighting for 6 slots. San Francisco at 4-4. It's not looking too good for them.
No, it's not looking good at all for them. Like I said, that loss yesterday was that was really devastating. So the Niners, hopefully they get some of their guys back here, but they're really going to have to turn it on, the second half of the season. Otherwise, they're going to be in trouble. But that final playoff spot in the NFC, obviously, it seems like it's going to come down to the very last game.
Yeah, and 11-5, you're going to have to go 11-5 to get it, because just like last season, Arizona missed out getting 11 wins. So, you see all these teams. Detroit 6-2. Can they keep sustaining it? Can Dallas keep sustaining it? Can the Eagles keep sustaining this? Obviously with all these injuries now. So can they get to 11 wins? And their second half schedule is brutal. So it's really going to be an interesting last half of the season.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun here. So, we'll see what happens. The NFL is crazy. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. Just like the Rams going in and beating the 49ers. So, you never know what's gonna happen here in the NFL. So, I'm ready for an exciting finish to the season.
Yeah, and I guess we can turn to the AFC side of things real quick. Obviously, the big marquee game in Foxborough. Peyton Manning going up against Tom Brady for the 16th time of their careers. And, well, it wasn't too close. New England blew him out from the onset. Peyton didn't play too well. We both thought New England would win, but I didn't think it was going to look like that.
It looked like Peyton Manning was a little bit scared of the cold temperatures because he didn't fare too well in them. The Patriots just came out ready to play, and they dominated. Not a good game for Peyton Manning. Tom Brady obviously got the better of him in that one. So, but you look at the AFC, I mean, obviously, the 3 teams that you really look at there, Patriots, Broncos, and Colts.
Yeah, I agree. And, well, it's funny because I had the Patriots going to the Super Bowl this year. I got laughed at after they were 2-2. But now all of a sudden they look pretty good. And the reason why I had them in the Super Bowl is because I thought they were going to win this game so they can get the AFC Championship game at home against Denver, and they've got it right now. So both at 7-2, if they both go like 13-3, 12-4, New England would obviously get the number 1 seed. Indianapolis is that 3rd team in the mix, but I think ultimately it comes down to these 2 teams. I think Indianapolis is still like a year or 2 away from contending for a Super Bowl. But at the same time, who knows? You never know in this league.
Yeah, and you go back to the Patriots and Tom Brady, and this kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because I remember, just a few weeks ago, the Patriots were struggling a little bit, and Donovan McNabb came out with these outrageous comments that Tom Brady is done in New England, and that saying that it's like over for Tom Brady, and that the Patriots are over. Well, Jesus, obviously Donovan McNabb should not be talking about football.
Oh man, he might be the dumbest man alive. I swear to God. I'm trying to think of other people that are dumber than him, except maybe Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. That guy's an asshole. But being Ukrainian, I completely can't stand Vladimir Putin. You gotta stop putting your hands on Ukraine, motherfucker. Anyway, Donovan. Oh my God! Now I see why he never won a Super Bowl here. This guy is a fucking moron.
Yeah, I mean, we should have known when he didn't know the overtime rules, and I mean, it's just a mess. He calls some games now on Fox. He's on Fox Sports 1, obviously, just making ridiculous comments every day, and that was just one of them. So that's why some former NFL players should not just automatically be given a job being an analyst.
But you know what? He's got he's so dumb that he's entertaining factor. That's really what it is. It's the
Yeah.
Barkley factor.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. That's definitely what it is. It makes for good TV.
It really does. Oh man, even the comments he made about the Eagles this season. You're clearly bitter that you never won a goddamn Super Bowl here.
Yes, he's very bitter. He should be joining the bitter birds.
Yeah. No, I would not accept him. He's not smart enough to be on our team.
He wouldn't figure out how to call into the show, so he wouldn't have problems even getting onto the show.
Yeah. Yeah, they were playing the baseball game, the playoff game, the wild card game between the Royals and A's, and he thought that both teams were going to move on to the next round once it went to extra innings.
I'm sure he did, He's I'm surprised that he even knows what baseball is.
Oh God. Oh man. All right. Enough Donovan talk. Enough. I've had enough. No more. Cut.
Oh man. Yeah, now it's Sanchez talk, We went from talking about Foles for all this time. Everyone, is Foles the guy for the future? Then everyone was talking about Foles' struggles. He doesn't look like the same guy. And then it went to, how is Foles' clavicle doing? Can Sanchez Can Sanchez do it this year? Can he come in and step in and be a suitable backup? So it's been a crazy turn of events here.
What I'm interested to see now is, say Sanchez plays really, really well. What happens next year? Do you go to Sanchez or do you go to Foles? Now it's now it opens up a whole. This injury might open up a whole can of worms now.
Yeah, it definitely does, because I think that if Sanchez, comes out, plays well for the rest of the year, say they go into the playoffs, he wins them a playoff game or two. Obviously, I would think that for next season, I would think you would have to keep Sanchez, and then maybe they would trade Foles, and they would try to do something like that. Maybe move up in the draft and get someone. I think it opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, and it's I don't want to give up on Foles. I'm really reluctant to give up on him because of what I saw last year, and there are signs that he's good. I love his makeup, his mental makeup. I love that about him, that he can play like shit all game, but then when the game really matters, he comes up big, and we haven't seen that out of Sanchez yet. Obviously, we'll see how he does. A lot of big-time games coming up, so we'll see if he can handle that pressure. Because when he was in New York, he couldn't handle the pressure. Well, after a while, he did win those playoff games for the first two seasons, but let's face it, he was a game manager. He didn't really win those playoff games. The defense won those games.
Yeah, as long as Sanchez isn't running into Jason Kelsey's butt, then we should be okay. He's just... if he has a butt fumble in Philadelphia, then we could have some real issues.
Yeah. Oh man, it's basically the media and the fans ran him out of town in New York, and it's you think about the Philly media and the Philly fans, it's the same way, if not worse. So he better not, do anything stupid.
Yeah, just he's got to keep calm. As long as he keeps calm and he chips on, he's gonna be all right.
Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir. Keep calm and chip on, baby.
Yeah. So I think that's really the big thing there. We just got to keep calm and chip on. We got to believe in our leader, and that's Chip Kelly.
Yeah. Chips ahoy. There you go. So, all right. I think we've covered all bases, everything, all the shenanigans that have gone on over the last 24 hours with the Eagles. We got it all covered. Bitter Birds got your back. So we've discussed everything today. We talked about the game. We talked about Mark Sanchez. Talked about our rushing attack, how it's going to be vital coming down the stretch. We've talked everything, the entire realm. So I think we've got all bases covered. This might be that time where, you have your final thought.
Yeah, it's time for final thoughts. Um, woke up today and I realized that Mark Sanchez is going to be our quarterback for the rest of the season, and it's kind of a bizarre feeling. I really don't know how to feel about this. I don't know if I should be happy, if I should be mad, or if I should be sad. But hopefully Sanchez can come in and stay calm, not throw interceptions, not turn the ball over, not have any butt fumbles. And could he be the guy that leads us into the playoffs? It's hard to imagine, but hey, maybe the fast-paced offense, it suits Mark Sanchez well. We'll find out in the weeks to come.
Yeah, he does seem like a new guy, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can continue playing like this. And yeah, with that being said, that's Mike Owens. I'm Adrian Fedke. Keep calm and chip on, everybody. Everything's going to be all right. Go Birds, baby.
Go Birds.